Hey guys, welcome to the Three Progress Freaks, the podcast about self improvement and continuous progress. So, today we're going to process one of the insightful sessions of the Career Mastery Kickstart delivered by Michael O'Brien, who is the Shift Officer of Peloton Executive Coaching. So, his topic was how to prevent a bad moment from turning into a bad day. So basically, he's saying that it starts with one straightforward question. Is this moment happening to me or for me? So us, the three progress freaks, Thao, Sheila, and myself, are very much affected or how do you say, intrigued by this question, because somehow, someone, we would have had a bad moment or a bad day, and it would be interesting to just discuss on how it is for us and to evaluate it against the action steps that Michael has proposed in his session. So yeah, Thao, Sheila, how did you think of the session when you first heard it?
So for me, I was like really intrigued by just the title. When I saw it, I was like, yes, this is what I need, because I just had a bad moment, like more bad moments this week, like maybe 3 times in this week. And I was like, what can I do with it? Because even like such small things as weather, really bad weather, can influence my mood, and I don't know what to do, right? So I yeah, I think we will discuss it a bit more, like what he said, the action steps. But I think I did try some of them, and it did help me in some ways. But for example, of course, he talked about 4 action steps, which was I don't know if I should talk about it now already.
Yeah.
First was to take a deep breath first and like really pause, breathe, and then reflect on the thing that is happening right now. The second step is to ask yourself the question: is this moment happening to you or for you? Which, to be honest, I'm not really sure what this question mean yet. I think I don't get it right, because I am like, what do you mean by to me, for me? What if it's not like, I don't feel like the bad weather is happening to me or for me. So I want to discuss this a bit more. Then there's a third step, which is acceptance. And the fourth step he talked about was to talk to people around you, to really talk to people that bring out the best in you. And that part, I think I do a lot, and that's the part that helps me the most. So that's what it is for me. Sheila?
Yeah. And for me, it's the same. It piqued my interest because the title is How to Turn Your Bad Day. No, how to prevent a bad moment from turning into a bad day. So everyone has bad days. Not just me, not just you, but like everyone has it. I don't know how others handle it, but like for some people, it really turns a single bad moment in the morning or in the afternoon a bad day, right? So I think it's really a relevant topic to be discussed by us and for this message to be shared to others as well. So for the action items that Tao mentioned, it's not very new. I think like with what I've read before in some books, but I think these are very, very helpful steps that we haven't really digested or applied in our life in a practical way. So I think it's a nice reminder to us that that in every moment we have this choice. We have this choice to stop, pause, and reflect, and that we have a choice if we're gonna react negatively or just accept it as how it is.
What
Yes,
about
I
you,
think
Claire?
yeah, I find it really compelling in the sense that at first I couldn't resonate considering a bad moment to change it into a bad day. I can imagine I have a lot of bad moments, I guess, but how I process is very detached. I think it's a good thing and a bad thing as well, because if that happens, then I feel so bad then, and then I'm gonna move on completely. I'm already practicing that one point of like, I wouldn't say it's the breath itself, but I would just go 10-minute meditation, put something in, cover myself in a blanket, and then breathe it out, and then it's done. But I think what was missing for me is to really reflect on what made it bad for me and not just like put it aside like it didn't happen. Because I think that's how I process things normally. So I was telling you even before this podcast that I cannot find things which initially started as a bad moment and turned into a bad day. For me, I chuck it, I block it, I put it in a box, and then it's gone, and then I forget about it. It didn't affect my entire day, but I didn't process it. Like, what made it bad? So in essence, I think it could keep happening and I never learn from it. Though it doesn't affect my entire day, it can affect me as a person, it can affect my life in general. But I think one of my greatest takeaway would be the awareness, gratitude, and the reflection. Like, why did I feel bad about that? It didn't turn into something bigger than it should be, but how can I process this? How can I move forward from this and learn from it? So I think it's even bigger than just a day. How to turn yeah, like it changes your outlook completely altogether. So
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed on how this processing already helped, because in face value I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it doesn't affect me as much, but in a deeper look it really is very helpful to look at this in this way.
I mean,
um
yeah, I think like an issue for me is that instead of uh like what I'm doing now is I think that I'm doing these action steps, but it's not that how to prevent a bad moment turning into a bad day, because it for me it really always almost always turns into a bad day. But for me more of a question is like how to do what to do to for me to that I wake up the next day and I don't feel like this again, you know, so that I can go on. And that I think I can do most of the time. But yeah, still, this, what he said, is not exactly telling me what I should do to to process this and to really have a good day even though something bad happened to me. Because I do like the first step, I what I do always when I feel bad, I think about things, I really do pause and I go for a walk and I just like listen to
yeah.
music, or I just don't do anything, but I just walk alone and I think about things. So and then I do ask myself why this happened, but I do this like very slowly. It takes me the whole day, you know. I would go for a walk for 2 hours, then I come home and I still think about it. So then I try to reflect on the things, try to write down what went wrong, or what can I do to make it better. And then I talk to people, to my friends, who give me like a lot of support, which is great. But it also still is it takes a long time for me to get over it. And then the next day, yeah, mostly the next day, I'm okay, I'm motivated again to do something, but it takes me that whole day.
But I have a question. How do you define bad moment anyway? Because what is bad for you? What is an example of, yeah, an experience that you would count as a bad moment?
Okay, so an example for me now, what happened this week was that I'm trying now to actively search for job opportunities abroad, and I really want to go abroad, and even like outside of Europe. And I've been searching for jobs for quite some time already, and I have um like there are some criterias that are very important for me when I'm looking for that job. And that is, I want it to be abroad, in some really good country that will make me excited. And then I want the job to be good. Of course, I want it to be something that I will be passionate about. And the third one is for which company I will work, because I have to be aligned with their mission and vision, right? So that's three criteria that are very important to me. But the thing is that I got a lot of rejections already, and most of them are not even that they have an interview with me, but they say yes because of the Corona right now, we can't give you a working visa. Like, it's not possible. So we are sorry, but you're not a good candidate for this role. And that makes that already, that that you get all these emails every day about how they like how they don't want you. It makes my day already bad, and then I just feel a bit demotivated, also because I'm writing my thesis all day, and I'm just like, why am I even doing this? I don't even know if I will have a job after after that. So yeah, that's what turns my day bad.
Yeah.
And for you, Sheila?
For me, it's when something doesn't go as planned. So I think I've mentioned this to you guys, the last enrollment. Like, I wasn't able to get subjects that I wanted, or so I think it's my enrollment week actually this week, and it happened again. So when it's enrollment, there's just limited courses available. So it's more of a war, and it's first come first enrollee, right? So when things doesn't go as planned, or when I'm being rushed to do some things, for example at work, for example, the reports are uh, being asked for me in an unreasonable amount of time. So that makes me stressed about it. So it's a bad moment for me. And I like what you both shared, that you just take a moment, like Catherine mentioned, she just stop and do meditation, and Tao also stops, pauses, and just walk. So for me, it's like a walking meditation as well. But for me, I'm having a hard time doing that. So right now, when those things happen, for example, I'm being rushed, I think I need to do the report immediately, right? So that's how I feel. I feel rushed. For in the enrollment, I keep refreshing until a new subject comes up. So I'm having a challenge on handling those bad moments. So I've mentioned also earlier that some of the action items here I've read before. So actually the pause is actually a self-regulation in emotional intelligence component. So they said that emotional intelligence has four components: self awareness, self regulation, then social awareness, social regulation. So I think this is more of social regulation. It's more of a self regulation thing. It's more of controlling your reaction, what you feel, what you're gonna do on a certain subject. So I think that's a significant part of the emotional intelligence part that I think I really need to work on. But I like it. And then for the breathing exercise, I watched recently a video on the breathing exercise tip that I think is relevant. It's called 478. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, then you hold the breath for 7 seconds, then you exhale it for 8 seconds. And yeah, I think that helps a lot, because right now, if you just because they just say that hold your breath longer, but I don't know like how long, how much is it, right? So yeah.
That's a very insightful from my end, at least. I ask what your definition of bad moment is because one of the meditations that I've been listening to has taught me to not tag a moment for what it is, but just take it as it is. Like, no moment is bad, no moment is good, no moment, it's just the moment. It's just an experience. I think that's why I was struggling a bit in the beginning to find what is a bad moment or what is a good moment, because everything for me is just like a moment. At least that's what I try, right? That I look at it, it passes. Like, I imagine a train. You're just on a train station and it just moves. There's no bad or good train, but just it just moves. You look at it, you watch it, and then it goes in and goes out, and then it's done, right? So I feel like if we like step back a bit and look at moments for just moments and not think of it, not take it as a bad, then it wouldn't spoil the other fruits, you know. It's just something that has happened. You breathe, that you regulate yourself, as what we've already discussed, with the breathing, with the pausing, and then moves it just moves, and then you move on to the next day, and then the next day. Because what I also realized, although I think the community part of talking about it helps, I feel it's also very important that you talk to the right people. Because when you talk to people who tends to be negative and tends to see the bad in the things that you say, that are just moments, just as it is, it also a bit challenges your perception on a thing and changes your perception on a thing. I think one of my biggest like moment that is not just a day and has been going on is like having my wedding in August, which might likely not happen. And for the longest time I wasn't attached to it. I was like, it's fine, it's gonna happen when it happens. But when people start asking about me, when when I'm talking about it with my fiance, and I'm like like feeling all the emotions that they have, regret, disappointment, like it's bad, like why can we not, my initial state of being, I wouldn't say apathetic, but not feeling negative towards it, but it just being a moment, has changed completely. I think I shared it with you guys that there was a point in time when I was really depressed to an extent. Like, why does it happen? I also deserve something nice. Why is it like this and that? But when I reflect upon it, it's not my own thinking. It's from the discussions that I got from the people around me. And don't get me wrong, I know that their intentions are very good. They didn't mean to make me feel bad, but they have also, I wouldn't say imposed upon me, but shared upon me an insight of them that I didn't have before, which made me feel bad, which made me feel fear, worry, and all those things. So while the community is great, it would also be good to be selective, I guess, in the community that we talk to also take care, like have a very solid guard to our emotions, our thoughts, because we have control over it. And now I'm trying to like get out of it, finding positivity and finding better things out of it, and looking at it as not a bad thing, but it might actually be a better thing. So maybe to challenge Michael a bit is to ask him, like, how can you even say that it is bad or good? Maybe there isn't such anything. It's just like moments that we have to live and have to enjoy, and where necessary we have to pause, breathe, and reflect, regardless whether it's good or bad, right? If we want something, if we actually have an amazing experience, I think we also have to pause, we also have to breathe and reflect upon it. So this is a very different way of looking things, but more broader view of things.
Yeah, I really like this view, but I have this thing that Sheila mentioned, that I feel very pressured, time pressured with a lot of things, you know? Like I would want to pause for the whole day, but then I feel bad because I know that I have to finish this, and this is what makes it into a bad day. If I knew that I don't have this deadline, I don't have to show this chapter to my supervisor, for example, in next 2 days, then I would be totally okay with having one day just walking outside the whole day and thinking about my life. But I feel like I can't afford it. I can't afford to have this moment. I have to work hard. And then at the end of the day, when I do take my day off, I don't do anything. I go back to my habit tracker and I can't tick off anything I was supposed to do, in the to-do list. And then I feel bad that I was not able to achieve what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Then similar for me, because I think for self awareness, I'm doing well on that because I reflect like each and every day, every week, every month, like every period that I have time. But for self regulation, that needs to have still a bit more work on my part. So like I know the idea, like this idea, I've read it before, I've listened to videos on it before, but just knowing on these things doesn't really automatically you're gonna know to do what to do on that certain moment, because on that certain moment, that just for me, I tend to have a tunnel vision, like what you only see is the problem. You forget already about the bigger picture, like what you've read, what you saw in the video, etc. So I think this hopefully this discussion will help me remember to pause when these bad moments happen, and just breathe. For example, for my meditation, I that's my entire plan, to just pause, listen to something relaxing. But when I'm already in the moment, I tend to forget about it. Then I just reflect at the end of the day that, hey, I had a bad moment earlier. Then I think I can handle it better next time, right? So, for example, in the bad moment, I think it just runs, like the moment is just 30 minutes of my life, but I keep looking at the screen, refreshing, talking about it to some friends. So it elongated. Like I spent 4 hours already on this challenge that I'm having. So it's more of expanding my vision, like what Catherine mentioned, that accepting the thing as it is, and yeah, it's not bad, it's not good, just accept it, and just move on. Like the train still goes. So that's my challenge, to go on to the next train already, and not just focus on this thing and spend more time than necessary to on this bad or good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like for me, what helped a lot so that I'm not just negative this whole talk and I can also give a tip is that for me what works is that what makes the bad day into a better day or almost a good day is that if I at least if I've done at least one thing, you know, if I feel like I've accomplished at least one thing, even if it's a small thing. And that's why I said that the community for me was like is one of the most important parts that helps me the most, because this week, as I told you, I had a bad moment and I didn't feel like doing anything. I would just be outside or just be at home pounding. But then my friend called me because he's my accountability partner for job hunting. And he called me when we were supposed to meet because I, of course, didn't call him. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And then I told him about my situation. And he was like, "No, no, no. We said that we're going to look for jobs for half an hour a day. So let's do this. Let's write a cover letter." And I was like, "No, I really don't feel like writing a cover letter now that I've been rejected so many times." And he's like, "No, Tao, get up and let's write it. Let's get one thing done." And then really I just sat in front of my computer and I wrote something down and I applied to one job that got me really excited somewhere in Australia. And when I sent it, I felt so good because that was like one thing I accomplished today. And I think that's very important for me. If I feel like I haven't done anything all day, I've been just thinking about that bad moment, then that's something that will probably ruin my next day as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very good tip, actually. Like you changed, I think it fits with what you said about reframing. So you've reframed your day by doing something that's really positive and make you feel good. I just remembered very quickly a funny story when you were saying about being pressured. I was also going through in one of those days, and instead of working on it, I went downstairs and it was very cold. I remember, so I went by the fire and I was wearing like blankets like this, and I was like meditating. And I didn't know at that time my boyfriend went down and took a photo of me. Like it's like the monk on winter or something like that. And I'm like, but that's me, right? Like I would just like go whatever, and when it's sunny, I would bring my yoga mat, go to the by the in the backyard with the grass because it really feels very good. Just drink and then cover myself, and then it's like go out as if nothing happened. Like you live again, like you died in that bad moment and you lived again. And I think it's very positive. I'm laughing now, but I think it's helping a lot. So if maybe that would be my tip, just really and also don't feel guilty about doing it. Now I really find it, yeah, still so funny that I can imagine everyone going crazy already behind their computers doing the things, and there I am like doing my meditation. But it I think it's very good for our own mental health. So I wanted to just wrap up with the acronym that Michael also shared, GRACE, like gratitude, reframing, awareness, community, and energy management. What on this five, like among these five words, do you resonate a lot, and what do you think you could maybe share to the listeners of what they can do around this one of these words?
Yeah. For me, it's the reframing part because that's what I just told you. Really, if you get to do at least one thing in the day that will make you happy, I think that will change a lot. That will change the whole day. Just do something for yourself. And even if it's just a small thing, just put I don't know. For example, do a workout even though you don't feel like it, but then when you do it, you just feel better because you know that you've done something for yourself, and you can tick off at least one of those bullet points that you have on your to-do list.
Yeah. For me, it's also reframing. So with what Michael mentioned earlier, there's stimuli, then there's space, then there's response.
Yeah.
That space, we can choose a reaction. So for the stimuli, as Catherine mentioned, it's neither good nor bad. So in that space, we can choose what we will react on. So let's give that space to us, like few moments of breathing or walking or anything. Uh, I still need to work on that, but probably after this session, which is very helpful discussion, probably I'll uh, post some more reminders, like in my laptop, probably a small thing. Although the bad moments doesn't happen regularly in my life, so I can really think of like a bad moment each month or something. But I think that small reminder will help me remember to pause, and I have a choice to how to accept the stimuli and how I will react on it. Like the stimuli, I can't control it. The condition that happened, I can't control it. But my reaction is the only thing that I can control.
That's really nice. For me, my word would be awareness, because that's what I really think, that so long as you're self-aware, but as Sheila mentioned, there are like levels, there's self-regulation, there's self-awareness as well. But yeah, so long as we are aware of what we're feeling, what we're doing, and day to day, you have that choice to react or not to react, or what to feel, how to feel towards it. So that's maybe something that I would want to keep doing and be very strong with, like self-awareness and awareness of the day. Like I always think of that train that moves, and then I just let it move, and then I just wait for the next one, and that gives me a lot of relief, I guess, that yeah, that is just another moment, and we could just live our life in a better way, as how we would want to and how we would want it to be. So maybe this has been amazing. I really like the suggestions now. We hope to have more of this in the future. So if our listeners would have any suggestions on what we would want to discuss in the future, books, videos, or whatever, send it over our way. Any last words, and then we could end our podcast for today?
Hmm. Sheila, help.
Can we give one word each? Like
Yeah, that would be great.
yeah. For me, it's pause.
Breathe.
Then for me, it's reflect.
Yes.
Pause, breathe, and reflect, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank
Yeah.
Have a
you.
wonderful
Thank
day. Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.